Hello everyone and welcome to the final part of the third module of Life Skills for Semester 1. In the previous videos, we analyzed the different aspects of creativity and some theories related to creative thinking. In this video, we will be looking into the next life skill prescribed by WHO, which is problem solving. Before moving to the main concepts, let us take a look at the topics we are going to discuss in this video. We will start by trying to define what problem solving is and look at the steps involved in the process. We will also discuss some of the methods for problem solving such as mind maps, forced connection and 6 thinking hats. So, to understand what problem solving is, we need to have an idea of what problem is. In general terms, a problem is a distance between how things are right now and how things should ideally be. Problem solving, therefore, forms the bridge between these two elements. So, in order to close the gap, you need to understand the way things are or the problem and the way they ought to be or the solution. Now that we know what a problem is, let us take a look at the steps involved in the process of problem solving. The first step is to define the problem. In this step, one should differentiate fact from opinion, try and figure out the underlying causes and basically collect the data required to understand the exact nature of the problem. The next step is to generate solutions or ideas to solve the problem. This step involves brainstorming ideas from the data collected in the first step and creating solutions. The third step is to evaluate and select a solution. All outcomes should be analyzed and evaluated thoroughly without any sort of bias. And the final step is the implementation of the solution and feedback. After the chosen solution is implemented, it is imperative to gather feedback so as to avoid any mistakes in the future. Let us now look at some of the popular problem-solving methods. The first method we are going to discuss is the mind map. The term mind map was coined by Tony Buzan in the 1970s. Mind mapping is a method of pictorially representing information and exploring new ideas and concepts. It represents the hierarchy or interrelationships of new ideas and concepts in the form of a picture or network. It is a spider diagram that maps information. A mind map usually has a central theme which is written prominently or drawn as an image at the center of a blank page. Major ideas are related to the central theme and are placed around the central idea and are represented with words, phrases or pictures and are connected to the central idea. Each major idea has smaller ideas and those are placed in branched or hierarchical structures. Connections among these can be shown with lines, arrows, etc. The use of colors, images and all those adds effectiveness to the entire understanding of the concept. Mind maps are used by many companies like IBM, Walt Disney, Microsoft and etc. The main advantage of using a mind map is that it promotes creative thinking. It also helps to concentrate on a single and central idea and condense a large amount of information very effectively to which new information can be easily added. This method also helps the brain to store and retrieve information very easily. Another popular method of problem solving is the forced connection. Forced connections or forced association is an entertaining and radical way of generating new ideas. Forced connections help individuals and groups to break out the thought patterns that we may get fixed with. In this method, the group members are expected to derive or force a connection between the problem at hand and a random object or picture. The members can connect any attribute of the object or picture to the problem, which promotes divergent thinking. For example, let us consider this advertisement by Nescafe. We can see an image of a mug of coffee and an alarm clock mixed together to form a single object. Coffee and alarm clock are two distinct things which has no visible connection between them. But the company has forced a connection between the two objects to show that their coffee can wake up a person as effectively as an alarm clock does. The next method of problem solving is called the 6 thinking hats. The 6 thinking hats is a role-playing model presented by Edward de Bono in 1986. It serves as a team-based problem-solving and brainstorming technique that can be used to explore problems and solutions and uncover ideas and options that might otherwise be overlooked by a homogeneously thinking group. The basic premise hinges upon the idea that most people think and reason in a specific way based on their personality type. This means that a more emotional person may generate ideas differently than a more analytical person, and vice versa. Similarly, a pessimist will approach a situation very differently than an optimist. De Bono identified 6 types of one-dimensional personalities or thinking hats. Now let us take a look at each of these 6 different personalities in detail. The first type of personality or hat is the white hat. The white hat is the hat of facts and data. When wearing a mental white hat, we must focus on analyzing the available data and infer the information from them. The green hat is the hat of creativity. We can think and act creatively while wearing a mental green hat. We are encouraged to go beyond the limits we set for ourselves. Out-of-the-box solutions come from the green hat's thinking. The yellow hat is the hat of optimism and positivity. We take a logically optimistic view of the problem when we wear a yellow hat. The benefits, feasibility, positive assets, etc. are evaluated while wearing a mental yellow hat. The black hat is the hat of caution and critical thinking. We can reflect on how an idea wouldn't work in a current context. The black hat is important for decision making, but it should be used moderately. The red hat is the hat of feelings and emotions. When wearing a red mental hat, we are free to focus on insights, anxieties, feelings, intuitions, etc. And finally, the blue hat is the hat of process control. When wearing a blue hat, it is about the thought process itself that we think. Whether we are approaching the problem in the right way, what all are the ground rules, and whether the current thinking is productive. The blue hat initiates the discussion, controls its flow, and sums it up to provide the bigger picture. So with that, we have come to the end of the third module. I thank you all for listening.